I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, degenerate sleuths of the night. We gather to boldly go where others have refused. Welcome to the DT show, you salty mofos.
A man accused of killing 4 college students is behind bars, and he has ties to northeastern and central Pennsylvania. State police say 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger was arrested this morning at a home in Chestnut Hill Township.
I can't find any case law that would support that idea. That somehow a warrant would be needed for DNA left at a crime scene.
We are expecting to learn more about the allegations against the girlfriend of a Boston police officer who was found unresponsive in the snow Saturday morning. I-Team sources say Karen Reed was in a relationship with John O'Keefe. She's facing charges including motor vehicle homicide and manslaughter.
So, the Commonwealth just provided the court with information that causes me grave concern. The implications of that information may have profound effects on this defense and defense counsel.
So, get your popcorn ready and your choice of drink. Get your butt on your seat. Like, comment, and subscribe for a treat. Here we go. It's time for the show. The Drunk Turkey Show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Good to see a lot of familiar faces in the live chat. I want to thank every one of you guys for being here. I want to thank all our members, our mods, our new subscribers. After the show, as always, I'm going to go ahead and put a post up in the community tab for our newest members, as we always get a few every time. And I want to say thank you for joining. You get to become a part of the conversation. Discord is a thing that is for our members. It is a little forum, so to speak, where I go and share information about what we're going to be talking about next, who's going to be coming on. Sometimes there's drop of, well, we find out first where some drops are going to be happening in the Discord. So make sure you go check that out. Hit the join button. It's there. If not, in the description, there's a link for iPad user or iPhone users that says become a member. Click that link. It'll send you to a external link, and you can join there and be a part of the membership. It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. Let's see. Do I have my crystal ball tonight? Oh yeah, Psychic Daniel in the house. Maybe not so much this time. This time we're going to be talking a little bit about the past, so to speak, right? Something that just happened. As majority of you guys know, I dropped the 911 call from the November 13th, 2022 morning call for the initial call that went out to the 1122 King Road residence of an unconscious female subject, and officers would then later find the deceased bodies of Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. It is a gut-wrenching, saddening, and understanding, eye-opening type of call that went through, that we looked at, we deduced things from it, we listened to it. I now have a more enhanced version of it. I'm going to be going over that enhanced version tomorrow. I'm expecting to have Kelly from What's the Obsession. She should be on. We're going to be talking about some of the things that maybe perhaps the Sigma Chi students or fraternity guys that she's familiar with have. They've told her a couple of things from what I understand about the 911 call that kind of fills in a couple of the blanks. So we'll be listening to her and asking her those questions tomorrow about Sigma Chi. And then on Wednesday, we're going to be talking with Josh. He's from the lab. Great show. He's going to be on, and we're going to be talking about the Bryan Kohberger case, any updates, and also the Karen Reed case. So you don't want to miss it. I'll be on almost every day this week, and then also on Friday. So stay tuned, fasten your seatbelts, and hopefully you don't get tired of me. So without further ado, let's get into the conversation about today. So the 911 call, I dropped it a couple of days ago, and all I've seen, well, maybe not all I've seen, but the squeaky wheels have been in my live chat and in my in the comment section asking me about, or calling me first and foremost a liar, saying that I was a liar, that I didn't get this audio from a FOIA request or a public records request. Now, as I said from the beginning, when they asked me, how did this recording get out? It was from a FOIA request. And then the question was, well, how did it get to me? Oh, one of my teammates requested it. And I told you guys even then, I don't do them myself. I don't know how. I tried to do one a long time ago, and I've said this story once, but I'll say it one more time real quick. In the Richard Allen case, he was, he lived in Carroll County, and I struck up a wonderful conversation with a sheriff deputy or somebody trying to get public information and incident reports from the Carroll County Sheriff's Department in Georgia. And so it was a funny conversation there, but I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to those things. I think I've said that multiple times. However, like anything else, when it comes to this case, whether it be scientific stuff, where I mean, there's some things I don't know when it comes to the science. I brought on a metalegal forensic death investigator with a master's degree in forensics on the channel. When there's questions about fingerprints and latent blood footprints and things of that nature, I bring on a retired CSI investigator. I don't answer all those questions. I don't try to do everything myself. And so when it comes to some court documents, I go to the professionals. And now I'm not going to show everybody the documents that we submitted, because then you guys are going to harass the people who filed this for me. But what we will do is we'll look at, because apparently the movement, I don't know what you want to call them, the pro-burger movement, they have gone all in on mainstream media, on news anchors and reporters about, because they reported it after the fact, right? And the only reason they reported it after the fact is because, believe it or not, this is what I was told. The reason why I was able to get it out there before them is solely because they had to schedule it. They have to schedule these things. Sometimes there's breaking news and things of that nature, but a 911 call sometimes doesn't trump what's going on. What else is going on, especially in a case that occurred almost 3 years ago. And so they scheduled these things to go out at a certain time. And that's the only reason why I was able to pull this out there before them, from what I understand. Now, let's look at a couple of things. This is from the Moscow Pullman Daily News. This is on the recording of the 911 call made in Moscow murder case released to the media. It says here, an audio recording of the 911 call notified authorities that the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students in November of 2022 was released to media outlets and others on Friday. Pullman Daily News and Lewiston Tribune received a copy recording, and it can be found here scanning the code. Those who listen to the recording is a bit more than 4 minutes long. You'll hear a chaotic moment frozen in time. The call was placed by 2 surviving roommates who were in Moscow, in the Moscow house when the murders occurred. The voices on the call don't seem to grasp exactly what happened, but they understand it was horrific. A few different voices. Let's see. Let's go on. But yeah, they say they basically got it from a public request. There's also KXLY, which actually KXLY, they're the ones who actually dropped it before me. They dropped it first. It's just they're a local news place to the Idaho area. Obviously, they would have gotten things a little bit quicker and faster or whatnot. But they dropped it before I did. I held on to mine. I had mine actually a couple of days earlier than that. I held on to mine until one of these guys dropped it. I'm glad it was them who dropped it because it allowed me, it was really not mainstream media, to be honest with you. Mainstream media would have dropped it. It would have really probably my explanation of everything would have gone out the water. The Kohbergers would have gotten the call at the same time and really probably made a huge thing about it that, which they probably are. I really don't watch any other channel, so I couldn't tell you if they're doing it or not. But, as I was talking to my wife earlier, I was like, and maybe it made sense in that moment, but I was telling her, I was like, I'm glad that it came out this way, because if somebody that is good with words or things or can twist things, I can see how they could have twisted this up. And I'm glad that it got out to mainstream media, to myself, and to others who are reporting on the truth, not controversy, if that makes sense. But let's continue this. I agree with you, Cecilia. And that's one of the main reasons, that's the main reason. But if mainstream media had put it out there, or it was just put out there with any context, because even mainstream media kind of got it wrong a little bit, right? Like News Nation put it out there, a clip before anybody. They put out a clip before anybody, and on that clip, they mentioned that it was Dylan who was on the phone, and that was wrong. They didn't emphasize on the fact that Xana and Ethan's names were called by Hunter. They don't talk about the fact that the bodies were found in that time and place. And so, all those things exist in that phone call that they're not speaking about. And although it's only 28 minutes, in that News Nation segment, they were referring and asking and talking about the entire phone call. And it just seemed like a lot of things got wrong. And thanks to DB, I have a transcript, and we'll be going over that transcript tomorrow on the show. So make sure you like and subscribe. But an accurate transcript of everything that's in there with the enhanced audio, so you can listen to it and see it at the same time. So you don't want to miss it. That's going to be going on tomorrow as well. All righty. So this says here, this is from KXLY. Oh gosh. Oh, well, we'll see. I have to prove I'm not a robot. So let's see. Let's see what's going on here. 1 second. I'm just going to reopen it. Bear with me, guys. I apologize. All right, get out. 911 call from University of Idaho reveals chaos and confusion. All right, so this starts off with, where you can find the call, who can listen to it. Here's the timeline, the 911 call. Why does the call matter? All right, here it is. Despite public records requests, 4 News now has other news media outlets. The 911 call has not been previously released, citing privacy concerns as possible and the impact. However, a court filing last week contained a transcript of portions of the 911 call, deeming it unnecessary by legal standards to keep the call from public. The call itself is just over 4 minutes and ends when a Moscow police officer arrives on the scene, and they have had here their amended documents so that they can get the documentation, so they can get the 911 call. And this is Melissa Luck from KXLY4 saying, for the record, conspiracy folks, it's not a result. It's the result of a public record request and it was produced by the dispatch agency Whitcomb that handles 911 calls in the area, and it was given through to us through attorneys representing the Whitcomb in the release of the records. And so it was an official release. It was official release through public records. Just what I said a few weeks ago or a week ago. You know, I get it. Maybe perhaps some people that you followed maybe don't know how to do one correctly, or maybe they just did this one incorrectly, or they just didn't send it to the right spot, or they didn't do it at the right time. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. But what I do know is that I'm glad that I have the lawyers that I have who helped me get it, because I strongly suspect that if it was just up to me, like I mentioned at the top of the show, where when it was just up to me and I didn't know what I was doing, I was in the wrong county. You know what I mean? So those type of things happen when you're not an attorney and you're not somebody who's, you know, filing these requests and stuff like that on a constant. You know, one of the things that the person who told me, in fact, I'll read it. And you know, I had it, and like I said, I had it for a few days, but let me pull that up, what it is that they had told me. Let's see. These are the things that you need. Now, my response was, that's why I have you, my man. That's why I have you. It's a long one. It is. All right. So performing public records request involves several steps, which can depend on jurisdiction and the type of records you are seeking. Here are general guidelines to help you through the process. Identify the record and the custodian. Determine the specific records needed. Be as specific as possible about the documentation. Identify the records. Number 2, understand the applicable law. Research relevant public law. And I'm really just skimming through this because this is several paragraphs long. Prepare your requests. Be polite and professional. That's one of the other things too, right? You got to be polite and professional. Specify the format. Submit your request. Follow the agency's procedures. Some agencies have specific forums, etc. Follow up and review and appeal if necessary. Consider legal action. Tips for success. Be patient. Be persistent. Stay organized. I mean, there's just so many things that, you know, my contact here was telling me about when it came to those things, and my response was, that's why I have you. That's why I have you. I mean, I go to those who are the professionals, those that know what they're doing. I have no idea what I'm doing there. I've told you guys I'm not a lawyer, but let's see. Karen Thompson comes in with a $4.99 super sticker. Thank you, Karen. We appreciate that. Natalie James is one of our newest members. Judy coming in as a newest member as well. King Scarlet News as a new member. Long Island Hillbilly, another new member. Man, wow, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys joining up. And then Artworks 2 comes in saying, absolutely love the show. DT, integrity, respectful, professional, and accurate. It's the no BS channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what I aim for. I aim for being straightforward, honest, and whatnot. You know, at the end of the day, when you're just when you're aiming for the truth, right? When you're aiming, and I'm talking about the case in general, when you're aiming for the truth and you're aiming for trying to get accurate information out, less times you're going to be wrong. When you're aiming to just prove yourself right, no matter what, most of the time you're going to end up finding yourself on the wrong side of something pretty bad. What is up? The lab is in the house. He's going to be on Wednesday, guys. So make sure you guys like and subscribe and notification up. He'll be on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about Karen Reed and the Bryan Kohberger case. Now, I put a question out there. Now, you know, those that are in the live chat, I'm curious. So what difference does it make what avenue the audio was released? And why is there such so much anger about it? You know what I mean? I don't get it. I mean, outside of maybe perhaps some folks are upset because they didn't get it first, or I don't know, whatever the case may be, maybe because I got it and not somebody else of their choosing, you know. But What difference does it make? Even if it's me that got it, go listen to the breakdown. Listen to the breakdown. What part of the breakdown do I say that, hey, in this part of the audio, you hear Bryan Kohberger, or you hear them say Bryan did it? None of it. I mean, there's nothing in there that points towards Bryan Kohberger. All it does is point at the fact that you had some confused young people that knew something horrific had happened, but weren't quite sure of exactly what and the severity. I mean, I think there was a lot of bit of denial going on in that situation, where they were thinking to themselves, did it happen? Did it not happen? There's no way it could have happened. I mean, you see it in the text messages and in the way they're talking and in some of the things that they're saying and leaving out. And what I mean by that is, like, for instance, when Dylan texts or says something to Bethany that has Bethany respond with, Xana was wearing all black. Now, the only reason she would say that is if Dylan said something to the effect that, I saw somebody wearing all black. And for Bethany to text that means that there's some sort of comfort, right, that she's trying to apply there to Dylan, who's freaking out. Like, hey, it's probably nothing. You're just probably dreaming. Xana was wearing all black. But then, when people don't answer, especially in the morning, things start to set in real. And they start to realize that there was a person that they saw in the middle of the night and something bad did happen. But they don't know that until the morning. And I think outside of that, like, how does this hurt Bryan Kohberger's case? I mean, I guess if you're hoping to say that the surviving victims had something to do with it, and you just want to hold on to that until they go to trial because, now you can't say that no more. Well, I mean, that's kind of jacked up on its own, right? All righty, guys. Well, I'm not going to be on here very long. I wanted to just kind of come on out here and talk to you guys about the what happened, why it was released. It was released because a transcript was released. That's all. That's plain and simple. Once the transcript was released, I don't think they went back, and because, like I said, again, I'm not the one personally. You won't find my name on any documents as far as public requests, public records requests. But my assumption is, and you probably can take this to the bank, that as soon as the transcript got released, or as soon as word of the transcript got released, that might be the biggest hint there. As soon as somebody found out that the transcript was being released, some of those requests may have been made. I can't tell you about any requests that happened a year ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago by anybody else or anything else, or why or what. I don't work for Whitcomb or for the counties there in Pullman or in Latah County. So I couldn't tell you that. But it doesn't even matter in the end. It's just a crazy argument. I mean, unless somebody can come up with a reason to explain to me why it makes a difference how it got out. I think more people are mad that they look real stupid that said that it was AI. I think those people are probably the ones that are the maddest, because they wanted it to be AI, because they had a big mouth on them, and they wrote a check that their mouth couldn't cash. It's what it is. It's what it is. It's like when I interviewed Christy, and I had a bunch of haters then too saying, "Oh, that was fake. That was fake. That one was fake." Okay. Yeah, they had egg on their face a couple of days later when Christy posted a video for us saying that it was real. Same thing happened here. Maybe instead of getting so much egg or nut on your face, just wait a little bit and maybe you'll get all the answers that you like. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just jumping to a conclusion. Maybe that's why you're so wrong on all your assessments, is because you keep jumping to conclusions. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right. Mark Ferris comes in with my experience dealing with getting documents from any government entity is the matter of knowing who to ask and how to ask for it. and persistent pays off every time. 100%. Dan, you're a man of integrity. You have shown the utmost respect regarding the 911 call. I appreciate that, the Pilgrim Chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And tomorrow, like I said, we're going to have Kelly from What's the Obsession. She's got some contacts in the Sigma Chi fraternity out there in Moscow, Idaho. And so she spoke with them. There were some kids that were trying to clear up some of the rumors back in the day before Bryan Kohberger got arrested. And there was so much, pointing in that direction. They sought her out as a person that they could trust. And they, from what I understand, have, filled in some spaces when it comes to some of the noises on the 911 call, what we can hear. I'll be, so make sure you guys can like and subscribe so we can check that out tomorrow. Let's see. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ask your questions. Get any questions. It doesn't have to be about the 911 call, like how it was released, or is it important, or any of those things. If you have any other questions, I don't think there's any docs that have dropped regarding anything. Let me see. The poll is actually closer than I thought it would be, to be honest with you. We have 452 votes, and it's at 63% say no, it doesn't matter how the 911 call came out. 37% saying yes. I know a lot of people answered that question before. Maybe perhaps they found out that, what's the word I'm looking for? That it was really a public record and it was already out there. And the crazy thing is too, right? Because I had it, and I had some folks tell me, "Hey man, it's public record. You can share it." When I was talking about it, right? And the only reason was I hadn't gotten in contact with everybody. I talked to the Goncalves family, and I told them I had it. They were shocked I had it. I think Steve had gotten it or got it shortly after I did, or maybe even before I did. I don't know, but he was shocked that I had it. And I talked to him, and I talked to a couple other family members that I know of the victims, and I hadn't talked to them all. And so my train of thought is like, look, it's going to go out. Media is going to hit it. They're not going to, wait until they get a response for everybody, or maybe they did. Maybe the local news reached out because, all the victims' family members are somewhat local. They're from the vicinity area, right? They're not all spread across the United States. And so, my hope was that they would reach out and that the victim's family members would have heard it first before it was aired out. But there was no way of me knowing that, and I know it was going to go out, so that's why I waited until it went out. I had somebody email me saying, if you're scared to let it go, I'll air it on my channel. And I was like, it's not about me being afraid, it's about being respectful. It's a different animal. All right, let's get to your questions, guys. Let's do a little Q&A. Make sure I don't miss anything here. Thank you, Nikki Bobby. Thanks, Daniel, for all you do. I appreciate that. And thank you, Natalie James, for your $9.99 super sticker. We appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. How are my A1C levels? What are you trying to say? Are you trying to call me diabetic? I don't know. I haven't gone to the doctor to check. I definitely misunderstood. I thought it was your integrity versus the AI crazies. Huh. Do you think the girls were maybe used to Dylan having these nightmares, the terrors, or they maybe used to pacifying her? I mean, it's possible. It depends how close they are, they lived in the house for a few months there. I don't know how long Dylan has lived in the house. I don't know how close she got with any of the roommates. If she was there fairly new, I think her and Bethany were fairly young. I know that they were younger than Kaylee and Maddie. And so I don't know how close they were for that aspect to have been. But if she was close to Bethany and she'd maybe mentioned those things, it's possible. I don't know if they were maybe used to doing that, but if they were, I mean, we're probably going to find that out. You know, if it is, if it's not, they're not going to bring it up, obviously, right? But if it's something that is, because I think Dylan's going to talk about it, right? Dylan's going to go up there. She's going to testify, whether it's the state or the defense that brings her up there. She's going to testify. She's going to have to testify to what she means by those things, and if anybody's aware of those things, you know, because it would be just kind of like, I don't want to say it would be odd that if she never mentioned this to anybody and it's, you know, this happens, but you know, it would be in her best interest that if there's something documented, whether it be by going to a doctor or whatever the case may have been, or even, you know, just telling somebody like a friend that can testify in court that, yeah, now these were things that were persisting for a while, or a parent or something of that nature. That would definitely be it, but not sure about, I'm not sure about the night terror things. Let's see. Yes, 100%. See, here's the thing about showing the request, Amy. I mentioned this earlier. I'm not going. There's so many people out there that are so crazy. I'm not going to dox anybody. I've said it before. It wasn't me. It's somebody on my team, and I'm not going to dox them. You guys are going to harass the living hell out of them. I already know it. You know why I know it? Because it's happened to other people that I've had on the show. I've had professionals on the show who have told me that after the fact that pro burgers called their jobs. I ain't doing anything because it's just a bunch of crazy people saying a bunch of stupid stuff. But at the end of the day, it's happened. And so, no. Oh, unless you think that maybe perhaps, I don't know, one of the dispatchers, you know, really likes the show and sent it to me on, you know, risking their job in future, or a police officer did that, or you know what, Judge Hippler himself sent it to me. I mean, what do you think happened? Like, let's be real. I'm in Texas. I didn't go break into the dispatch office in Washington State to go get it. How do you think I got it? It's just, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. Hey, what's up, Tim? Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Always a great conversation with you in the live chat or in the comment section. The arm is okay. You know, it's getting the wound itself, right? So I had a picture of it on Twitter, and Twitter said it was too graphic. Go figure, right? But it was up there for a couple weeks, and I would say that I had what looked like 2 bullet wounds into my arm, and they had to clean up the dead meat in between. And so when I got out of surgery, I literally had a hole about 7 inches across, about a little bit like maybe like an oval shape, about 7 inches across, about 6 inches wide, and about maybe half an inch into my arm. I mean, it was down to the bone, and that was gone. I mean, you could literally see my artery all the way through for about 5-6 inches of the artery. And right now it's probably the size of a quarter. So it's shrunk. That's why we're a little bit late today. I was actually getting it changed, and scabs up on the corners, and the sponge I had kind of got stuck to one of the scab parts and wouldn't come off. So it took a little bit longer to get on the show than I wanted to, but I'm here. Was the top of the sheath tested for DNA? I don't think so. I think I read in one of the documents, it said that the top of the button snap was tested for fingerprints, right? So it was tested for prints on the button snap. The bottom was tested for DNA. I'm fairly positive the leather itself, if it was covered in blood, it probably wasn't tested for fingerprints. It was under the body of a victim. Now, so Maddie was on the outside, right, of the bed, and Kaylee was on the inside of the bed towards the wall. So let's if Bryan Kohberger pulled the K-bar knife out of the knife sheath, and he put down the knife sheath on the foot of the bed, and it rolled down during the struggle, because the mattress would work as a sponge, there's a good possibility that knife sheath might not be as full of blood as a lot of people think. Right. Now, the other thing is too is it's made out of leather, right? So it's waterproof. So one side's definitely could be covered in blood, but the underside could be safe. So, there's a couple of different things that could happen there. And that also could be why, there's no blood trail coming from, the second floor or the third floor down to the second floor. The bed acted as a sponge, and he didn't step in anything. The bodies were on the beds. So it's not like if, for instance, if he were to have attacked like the way we think he may have attacked Ethan and Xana, had he stepped in some sort of blood, then gravity would take place and be on the ground, and you could step in it. But if if the bodies are on the mattress, it would soak it up a little bit, before it starts to drip to the ground and etc. So it may not even be that full of blood, to be honest with you. It may be a little bit less. We'll see. We'll find out in court. Good question, though. Do you think they peeked under the door and saw Xana there under the door crack? I would assume so. That's what my assumption is. I believe somebody was up against the door. That is my belief based on the things that I know, that somebody was blocking that door. That house had a lot of remodeling done to it. It was initially built, I believe, in the 70s. If you go and look at a lot of the, what is it? Like, if you look at the Zillow, when it was up, if you guys saw it, it had like hardwood floors throughout the house, or that laminate stuff. Those type of houses back in the day had carpet. And so when you switch from carpet to those laminate, and you don't change out the doors, you just paint over them, there's a little bit of a gap at the bottom because the carpet obviously is a little bit thicker, and you can see underneath through there. So I'm wondering if they would be able to see something, which is why they thought somebody was passed out, because they saw somebody pressed up against the door. Miss 101 says, my daughter has lucid dreams and sleepwalks everywhere. Everyone she's ever spent the night with knows. Thank you for all you do, Daniel. Thank you so much, C. Vanderhoof. Appreciate that. Make sure I'm not missing any more. I am. I got one here. Long Island Hillbilly coming in 1999. The 911 call was too real for the Pro Burgers, so they have to smear it. That's true. That's true. I mean, the initial first 30 seconds, you can hear the panic in Bethany's voice. And so many people were like, oh, it's AI generated, AI. Everything's AI. Like if they don't agree with it, it's AI. Like it's what it is. If somebody doesn't agree, like oh yeah, hey, they'll be like, show me the proof or the audio or the video, and then you show them video and audio, and they're like, it was doctored. It's AI. It was something happened to it, like everything. And I'm like, it's wild. It's wild. It's wild how bad it is. Daniel, do you think that they're going to mute Bethany and Dylan's testimony, or are they going to let us hear it when they testify? I think they're going to let us hear it when they testify. I don't see why they would mute them. The only thing that I think they'll mute, or maybe perhaps censor from our viewing, is the victims' bodies, which is what they should. They should do that. The only persons that should see that are the jury, those that are making their decisions on the case, their decision on if this person should be found guilty or not. It's ultimately their choice, right? It's those 12 people. So, them and the, obviously the judge and the alternates, probably the only ones. Do you think the top of the shaft sneak was tested for DNA? Oh, I got that one already. Now it was fingerprinted. What is the reason we haven't heard from the remaining roommates under lawyers' advice not to? No, there's a gag order. They can't speak out. Which is, I think, why some folks were a little bit upset that this came out. But the 911 call, because it may be, or they're claiming that's why they got upset, because it's under gag, but it wasn't anymore. As soon as they dropped the transcript, there's nothing to hide no more. What happened to the dog? Did you have to have put down? So I don't have him. The dog went, to ACS, animal control, and I don't know what happened to him from there. I assume that's what they do. Whenever there's a dog bite and it's severe, ACS takes care of that, and they end up doing that. My hope is that somebody saw him and wanted to keep him and understood what he did and was willing to take on that, knowing that he had bit a person. My conscience is okay if that ends up being the situation, but a lot of people tell me, it's like, why didn't you find him a home or something? Man, if I did, and he's a big dog, if he would have bit my wife, she wouldn't be here. If he would have done that to a child, and the thing is, he wasn't going at me either. He was going at my wife for being between him and another dog. And so if he would have done that, if he would have bit her or a child or something like that after I gave that dog to somebody else, even if I told him, hey, he bit me, look at what happened. I mean, I couldn't sleep with myself. And so, I followed protocol. Animal control, they quarantine him for 10 days, and I don't know what happens after that. But if I had to take a guess, I don't think he's here, which is very sad for me. He was my dog. I own his mom, so I actually delivered him. Me and my wife, we delivered him in the whole litter. He was the one that I kept, and it was on my birthday too. And so me and him shared a birthday. He was my dog, and it hurt very much for everything that happened. But I got a baby, and I need to look out for my family first. And he made a mistake, and some mistakes have some major consequences, even for animals. They think Mr. Goncalves leaked it to you, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing online. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't read that right. They think that Mr. Goncalves leaked. Oh, I'm the one that had it before him. No, I got it from the Freedom of Information Act request, public records, whatever you want to call it, from a buddy of mine. So, one of my teammates. But I talked to Steve about it. He was pretty surprised that I got that I had it. I don't know if he had it before me. He had it after me. That's for sure. Seems like some pooling happened in Xana's room. Well, we do know that there was some blood that was dripping out of the back of her room. So there's something to do with that there, right? I just don't know. Does your scab look like Judd Nelson's cigar burn in The Breakfast Club? I don't think I've seen The Breakfast Club. I'd have to look at it. Right now, it looks like a weird triangular thing, and it's like a messed up triangular thing. But at this point, most of the meat I think have come up. My artery, you can still see it barely. It's probably maybe about a quarter inch long that you can see, but you can't see all the way around. You can only see the top part of it now. But the rest of it seems like it's gotten like to the top, right? Where now it just needs to grow in the new skin. The meat has grown as much as it's going to, I think. Let's see. Daniel, you heard anything about Hunter showed up on his own and did one of the girls call him over? From what I heard was that he got a call from one of the girls, from either Bethany or Dylan. Don't know whom. I think it was Bethany is what I heard the first time. But that was a long time ago when I heard that. So I interviewed Kaylee Goncalves probably a year and a half ago now, maybe a little bit longer than that. And in that conversation that I had with her, she had informed me that during the celebration of life, this was shortly after the murders, that Hunter Johnson had informed her husband backstage from that little stage area where they were talking, and that they had a moment between Steve and Hunter, and in that moment that Hunter had mentioned something to the effect that he got a call from one of the girls. I believe she mentioned Bethany, but I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and listen to it. But that he had gotten a call, that he had gone over, and he couldn't get in because the door was blocked. Now, she mentioned that it was blocked by Ethan. You know, these are two emotional men. These are guys that are, you know, one guy that has seen something horrific with, you know, his best friends involved in it. Another man who's lost his daughter in a horrific manner, you know, locked. I don't know. I don't know if they've spoken since. To my knowledge, I don't think so, but I haven't asked that question in a long, long time. And so I couldn't tell you, but from what I understand is that door was blocked and it took some effort to get in. And you can kind of hear that in the 911 call. You know, you can hear Hunter go, Xana, Ethan, it's me. And then you can hear a loud screech and what sounds like a door or something being forced open, and then get out right after that. And so I have a little bit more information about what was going on in those moments, and that's what we're going to be talking about majority of tomorrow's show. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. All right, I must speed through these real quick, guys. Yeah, you know, have any of BK's family members ever attended any of his hearings? I know they did the Pennsylvania ones. They attended. I don't know if they've attended anything in person in since he's been back to Idaho. I don't think so. And I'm not sure about Zoom. I couldn't tell you. What kind of dog? He was an American bully, an XL American bully. He was about 130 pounds. Big boy. He was a beautiful dog. He would have won competitions if I did those things. I may have watched it. I'm not sure. Did you have a wound vac? I did have a wound vac. I had one on for about 3 weeks, and it was the most painful thing. It's the most traumatic thing I've ever gone through. I swear the wound vac was probably worse than the dang dog bite. Probably. I mean, I have some super sensitivity because I got some nerve issues going on, and they had to tape it on my arm. And that tape had to hold in a vacuum, right? A seal. And so it was pretty strong tape, and it had to be removed every 2 weeks. And because of my sensitivity, every hair felt like somebody jabbing a needle in me. And so when they were pulling it, it was like, oh, I could feel every single hair. Like even now, if you touch the hairs on my hand, it stings like no other. I mean, it just gentle touches. It hurts less if you just grab my hand. Uh, that hurts a lot less than if you just gently, you know, touch the hair on my arm around the area, or especially around my hand in these two specific spots. Because it's weird. Like I want to say 60% of my hand is back to normal ish as far as feel, as far as touch, movement, not so much, but look, feel, and touch, yes. Uh, I have 40% of it that still feels like it's under ice, and it hurts when the hair is moved or whatever the case may be. Did I get a skin graft? They haven't given me one yet. That has been something that we have been discussing every time I go. But they haven't done it yet. Ms. Dog Lover says, I'm sorry to hear about your dog. What happened to you here in the UK? You need to have an exemption certificate to own an XL bully. Yeah. I don't know what's going on, because when I was in the hospital, about 3 other people that got bit by dogs that day I was in there. One was pretty horrific. His calf got ripped off by his own dog too. He was a pit bull. It was on camera. He was just standing there, and the dog just lost it and bit his leg and ripped off his calf and bit him in the other leg. And he has 2 wound vacs. He was going through that at the same time I was. He was at one of my appointments. I had to go back a couple of days later to get the wound vac taken off, and I think he was one of the guys that was there. But it was crazy, and I think there was another person whose dog. There was these 2 people that were just sentenced because their dog got loose and did some horrible stuff to an elderly person, and so yeah, I don't know. The dog that lost it, the one that was on video, and it was that bit the calf off. Police arrived. They actually had to try to put the dog down on the scene, and the dog survived multiple shots. Apparently, I haven't seen this video myself personally. It's not something I want to see. I don't think I can handle it, to be honest with you. I think it'll probably put me into a PTSD scene or whatever. I don't think I can handle it right now. But from what I understand is the dog then goes after other persons, just random people, until police finally were able to dispatch it. And they end up taking it to a vet who is family friends of my wife's. And from what I was being told was they had to take the brain out and send it out to go get tested or whatever. But that what I was told was that this one was something that has been happening here recently. These dogs, not all of them. I mean, I'm not trying to scare anybody. But here recently, there's just been a few dogs in this area that just kind of lost it. Don't know why. I don't, my dog, he saw my other dog, and I have no idea why. Him seeing my 10-year-old bully, I have bully. Well, he's an Amstaff, but Amstaff bully mix. I rescued him from the pound. He's like 10, 11 years old. He's an old guy. Can't even move. He had an ACL rupture a couple of years back that he had repaired. He has another one that kind of bothers him. He has arthritis. He's all gray. He didn't even bark or growl. He was just walked by the door, and it just set him off. Set him off. No idea why it set him off. It just set him off, and here I am now. Unfortunate, but it happens. Let's see, Gemma. So when Macy and Hunter C arrived, they were there too, weren't they? I know Hunter C arrived. I don't know who he arrived with. I don't know when they arrived. I know they arrived eventually because I think they ended up taking his Jeep, didn't they, or something like that? I don't remember. But I think he did. I think he did. Daniel, did Bryan ever work delivery orders, transporting products to people's homes? I don't know. Not to my knowledge. Nothing that I have seen. Hunter announcing himself helps nail down that the door to Xana's room was probably closed. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. There you go. That's the link for the Discord. Kind of dog. He was an XO bully. He's a big boy. Is Hunter Johnson's girlfriend the one that lived next door? The girl that was on the 911 call that helped give the address. Was Hunter Johnson next door at the girlfriend's house when she got the call from one of the roommates? I believe he got the call to try to get a hold of Ethan. I think that's what I've heard. Not from anybody that wasn't. I don't think Christy told me that. I'm fairly positive she's not the one that told me that. But I heard it was Hunter Johnson that had gotten called to go next door because Ethan and him were best friends. But yeah, from what I understand is he was next door at his girlfriend's house, who was the person who answered the door, the phone. And this is also the house that has the camera that captures the vehicle going in and out of the area. I hear that too. Hunter screams Xana when he gets the door open on that call. Opera goes, did anyone here hear that Bryan Kohberger's sister had an idea that he did it? So Howard Bloom has a book, and he also wrote several articles in the airmail. He's a journalist, and he also wrote for the New York Times. And he wrote that Bryan Kohberger's family were all suspicious of him. I think the only person he didn't write that was suspicious of him was his mom. And he wrote that his dad kind of was suspicious. They got into an argument, this, that, and the third. He reported that the sisters were telling dad, hey, could be him, could be him. You know, I don't know how truthful they are, but he's gotten a few things right. So I tend to believe that rumor. I would say I believe it. I don't know if it's true or not, but I believe it. You know, they also said that a lot of the pro-burgers don't pick up on. You know, they'll say, no, they have his back. They love him. They have his back. They just can't make it right. But in their only statement they've made, they put out that they have fully cooperated with law enforcement, and that they such and such something about the presumption of innocence for Bryan Kohberger, not that he was innocent, and let the case in the court do its thing. Interesting language. Daniel, so happy you're healing well. My husband had a really similar arm injury. Make sure you keep it out of the sun for years. Massage it with oil for a year or more every night. Yeah, no, I will. I definitely will. Oh man, I was going to show you guys. Like, look at the back of it, but I have it. I have it wrapped. I completely forgot. It's the pain meds. I'll tell you guys. They give me seeing things sometimes. His healed really well with the massage and the oil. The docs was impressed. It helped the sensitivity to, you know what? I'm going to tell my wife. I hear her laughing in the background right now. I'm going to tell her, babe, you're going to have to massage my hand and my arm. We'll see if she does. I can tell you that Choli the dog didn't chew on John O'Keefe. It's the side thought. I can tell you that too. I can definitely tell you that. See, the other thing is too, like my brother, it's not a good time for us. My brother got bit by a German Shepherd about 6 months before I got bit. He was at a job, and he was inside. He does like he works for people in their home, and he was in their home, and the guy forgot he was there, and he let his dog out, and the dog came in. Female German Shepherd bit him once, and was scared of my brother because my brother's a big guy. He's bigger than me. And I'm the oldest, but I'm the smallest of my brothers. It's weird. Well, anyways, he bit him, let go, and ran. And it looked kind of similar to mine, but very like a lot smaller. But you can definitely see the difference between the two, like between what my brother got bit by and what John O'Keefe's arm looked like. And there was no comparison. Rabies, no. He was up to date on the shot. All righty, guys. I'm gonna see if that might be coming to a close. Daniel, looks like Daniel, look into one skin when your skin gets good enough. Okay, look into one skin when your skin gets good enough. They'd be a famous sponsor too. To your wife, it's worth it. You're here. That's what I thought every night. Yep. Who did they sign? Today besides the safety? Did we sign somebody else? I believe we did. Isaiah Loudermilk. And we also signed Mason Rudolph. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. I want to appreciate everybody tuning in. As you can see, public record requests. This one was filed February 9th, 2023. Maybe they went for the old ones too. I don't know. But until next time, guys, we'll see y'all later. Peace out.